Well, I realize I've been doing this for a number of blogs and haven't really talked to you guys about who the rest of the main team is, and thought it'd probably be important for you to know a little bit about them and their backgrounds as well. Now, the first blog, I already talked about my background. You don't need to hear that again. I've got lots and lots of experience in design and especially in storyboarding. I've directed and produced a lot of things. I've won a ton of awards. Yeah. You don't want to hear that crap anymore. So, but the other two main people are my wife, Jeannie, who was a producer at Nickelodeon. So she'll tell you a little bit about her background. And the other one is Ed Kang, who created Dream Factory. So I'm going to have Ed tell you a little bit about his background as well. And then once we get into more active production, the people who are overseeing that, I'll introduce them to you guys at that point. All right? So Jeannie, take it away.
My name is Jeanne Simon, and I work in television. I'm a writer, producer, content creator, and of course, I periodically wear many other hats. And I started out in the business as a news person. And I was an on-air TV reporter in Missouri. And I worked at that job for about a year, and it took me about that long to realize news was just not for me. Like the TV industry, but just not news. So I ended up moving to LA. I was young and single, and it was the time to do it. So I worked first in low-budget features for Roger Corman in the famous Venice studios, where he was known for, we would build one set. For instance, I'll give you an example. I worked on a movie where we built a set, and it was supposed to be this enclosed laboratory. So then in the next movie that we did, we cut round holes in it and made it a submarine. So, you know, that's the way we did things. And of course, Roger Corman was famous. I ended up going from there to working on an HBO series called First and 10, and that's where I met Mark. We both worked in the art department. From there, we moved to Orlando, and we helped open up the Nickelodeon studios. And I ended up becoming one of the most busy producers they had at the studios at that time. And I worked on some of their groundbreaking shows. I was a producer on Clarissa Explains It All, Gullah Gullah Island, What Would You Do, Make the Grade, Roundhouse. And two of those shows, Clarissa and Roundhouse, were on their primetime lineup on Saturday night. It was called SNCC. From there, I went to Atlanta, and I had the most unusual experience. I helped create an entire network. So all of the programming, the staffing, the budgeting, and we were probably about 10 years ahead of our time, because the idea, now this is in the 90s, and the idea was that people watch television with their laptop open and engage in the programming. And back then, of course, we just didn't have the capability to download videos, but we were ahead of our time, and Ted Turner did give us the green light. So it was an amazing experience. Let's see. Oh, I also worked on a reality show. So it was called Roller Jam, and it was roller derby for TNN. And it was a great job, because my job was to make you hate the bad guys and love the good guys. And that show lasted several seasons, so I really understand reality programming. And it's not totally real. I'll let you in on a secret. So now my current job is at Sell Your TV Concept Now. And I work with clients in many, many, many ways. But one of the key ways is when people bring us an idea. Sometimes it's fairly well formed, meaning they could have a sizzle reel, a full treatment, or a Bible. And other times, they have nothing. They just have a great idea that they're passionate about, and they want us on their team to get it together and help them develop it. I work with clients to help them develop their ideas, whether it's from just a basic raw idea, or some people, like one of our clients is a 2-time Emmy winner, and we helped him polish his pitch package. So all of that, and we have done this many, 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 many times on clients' projects and on our own. So of course with Dream Factory, you know, we bring all that to bear on Dream Factory, and we're still developing it. You know, there's always work to be done to polish it, and typically it's going to be just polishing those characters and making the storylines better and better and more compelling each time. So here we are in LA. Mark and I are here for PitchCon, but we stopped off to visit my Aunt Betty. And we're on the 30th floor of the Sierra Towers in West Hollywood. So she was married to my uncle, Ben Thaw, who was president of MGM at one time. And they bought this beautiful apartment back in the 50s. I think their next door neighbor was Kirk Douglas for a while. So there's a lot of history here.
Hello, Ed Kang, creator of Dream Factory. Thought I'd give you a little bit of my background and how I got here. Growing up, I really loved comic books. In fact, I remember the first comic book I ever read was the comic book adaptation for the movie The Dark Crystal. So if you know what that is, you are awesome. And if you don't, I'm probably just too old. But growing up, because I love comic books, decided to become a comic book artist and had my own comic book for a little while. And then moved to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale, where I studied animation. While I was there, a couple of buddies of mine, we decided to start a animation company and got into the International Museum of Cartoon Art, which is where I met Mark Simon. And we were a studio and an exhibition at the same time. And did some really neat work there. We sold that company to Aladdin Entertainment Company, where we went in-house and we began developing television properties. We began doing special effects and doing creative work for recording artists and all that good stuff. I decided to move back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is where I'm from, where I am now. And not a lot of animation going on in these parts, but during that transition, I began working for a children's development company doing animated children's entertainment videos, edutainment, if you will. And did some really neat stuff there. Got some stuff into film festivals. There was worldwide distribution, lots of really cool things going on there. It was fun, a really great time. And since then, just been diversifying and working in media and content and strategy and marketing and what have you, all that stuff just to really diversify. But comic books and animation has always been something I've been doing, and it's been so dear to my heart, which is the reason I'm super excited to be working on Dream Factory. So you can follow our adventures on the blog that Mark Simon's putting out, as well as look me up on Instagram. I'm at EdKang99, EdKang99, and you can follow the hashtag Dream Factory Animation. So look forward to connecting with you. Thanks.